Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Michelle. Welcome to my New York City apartment.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more.
Hi, my name is Michelle Trin, and we are in my West Village apartment in New York City. This is Augie, short for Augustin. So he's actually my rescue dog that I picked up in 2020 in California because it was really difficult to adopt a dog in New York City. So I brought him back from Cali. And he's actually named after the street I used to live in Paris. It was Rue des Grands Augustins, so Augustin, Augie. He fits here, not necessarily my purse, but on a plane as well. I found this apartment in 2019, and it was a complete gut job. So I renovated the entire place. I didn't see the vision right away, but my broker really pushed me on it, and I'm so glad that we did it. I renovated it in 2019, moved in it, and then got locked in it for the pandemic. It was livable, don't get me wrong, but the kitchen was completely closed off. It actually had a wall there. Everything was just a little bit tired. So I wanted to freshen everything up, and we just completely redid the entire thing. The floors, all of the molding, increased the bathroom size, redid the kitchen. I just really wanted it to my taste and to live out my vision. So my apartment is on the street level, and it is spaced over 2 floors. The entire square footage is around 700 square feet. So when you come in, you go directly into the kitchen on the first ground, and then downstairs is where you find my bedroom and bathroom. So I grew up in California, went to school there, thought I was gonna spend my entire life there until I went to college and studied abroad in Florence. And that just opened my eyes to a whole nother world. After college, I moved to New York City and started working for L'Oreal. So I've always been in the beauty industry, and now for 15 years at a bunch of different brands. And then I started my own company in 2020 in marketing, branding, and product development. So now I have my consulting company with clients in startups as well as corporate, and I help them make makeup. Welcome into my apartment. You walk straight into everything. So there's the kitchen right away, there's my office, there's storage, there's the living room, there's my piano, and there's the outside street. So you see it all right when you walk in. So let's just start off with my work from home situation. I'm big on Facebook Marketplace, so I actually got this desk that is originally from West Elm on Facebook Marketplace for $100 and then just taxied it back. What I do love about having this space is it's really compact. It isn't impeding on the space really, and I actually was really intentional of having it here because we put an outlet on the floor so that there weren't wires just going around everywhere. I also had gotten this chair that is social, viral, famous, that is a chair and a half because I like to sit cross-legged when I work and no one can see me because the video is just the top half. So I'm obsessed with this chair. And what's really great about sitting at this angle as well is in the background, I have my bookshelf. And so that is my Zoom background that's always styled. And what's fantastic is no one can see the mess in the living room or the kitchen. All they see is this little frame in the back. The first thing people always ask about is this skull and crown. They think that it's one piece. It actually is 2. The skull I got from a trip to Mexico with my family, and the crown I actually made. So I am obsessed with Halloween and host a party every single year. That year, it was themed the Met Gala. So this was my crown for the Met Gala for the theme of heavenly bodies, and I made it myself. So I do DIY sometimes. The rest of this stuff, is Parisian themed. I have books with Parisian design. I actually used this book to help me pick out my backsplash when I was stuck on what kind of tiling to get. So I just looked through my resources in my interior design books, and that's how I came up with that. I used to live in Florence when I was studying abroad in college, and I got to see the David in person and pretty much fell in love with him. So I'm kind of obsessed with the David. You'll see him appear again later on in this video, downstairs in my bedroom as well. But when I saw this marble statue of him, I had to have it. Another thing I like to do is have candles everywhere. I'm obsessed with candles, and I love sourcing from local vendors and businesses and small businesses. So Maison Cruz is this local business in Long Island City, and they are actually a queer brand, and I love to support that community, and their scents are just delicious. So I have a ton of Maison Cruz candles. And then moving down to this area, I like to buy things off of auction. So these books are Antique Collection by Louise Melbach. And I bought it because, one, of the green color, and two, because the subjects of the books actually really resonate with my space. So there's ones on Napoleon and Marie Antoinette, and so it just really meshed with my style, and getting antique books is a great way to decorate your space at a low cost. And then what's great for me is when I'm sitting here, I actually get to look at this beautiful art piece on the wall. This piece I sourced from Mexico. Funny story here, I actually saw a very similar piece from this artisan on the Citizenry. And the Citizenry is very premium. So I actually found the artisans themselves, went to their website, it's Cara Larga, and sourced a piece that is just a little bit different and more unique to my space. And I love it. I love the threading, I love the texture of it, and I love the symmetry of the piece, and it really calms me down while I'm working. I used to live in Paris, and so that really inspired the aesthetic of my apartment. I was in Paris and lived in Saint-Germain-des-Prés in the 6th arrondissement. And so everything from that experience really came over with me when I moved back to New York City. I just really wanted to combine that Parisian charm with New York resourcefulness. So let's enter into the living room, 2 steps away. So here, this is my Mario Bellini sofa that is a reproduction, and I really loved the look of this sofa that just juxtaposes against the traditional molding, a really modern type of feel. I love that it's also a sectional, and you can move these pieces around, and it can actually grow with me. So if I move to a larger space one day, I can add more units, which is really great. And even yesterday, when I put up this tapestry, we had to move the units around to frame the tapestry well. So the Mario Bellini sofa I'm obsessed with. Yes, it is comfortable, and it's fantastic to even nap on, short ones though. So these pillows are actually from the House of Hackney, and they were one pillow altogether. So you'll actually see that the pattern is supposed to match up, but I split it into 2 because I needed 2 lumbar pillows that were smaller to fit in this space. And I actually pulled tassels from another pillow to put them together. So you'll see one is actually black and one is teal, but whatever, it makes it a little funky. It's a lot of fun, and I just love that it truly fits into my space now because I split it into 2. So then, flanking this whole area and the star of this side is my tapestry. And I found this tapestry on First Dibs. I really wanted something that was long in length. Because my sofa is so low to the ground, it seems a little awkward to have something just up on top. And so I wanted something to hang actually past the chair rail molding and tuck behind the sofa. It makes it feel really intentional and really covers this vertical space really well. And the top of the tapestry, we actually worked with Maison by Max, who is local to New York City, and he sourced the hardware for me. And the ends of it really remind me of the fleur de lis, which is obviously very French. So both of my shelves in my living room were also sourced from Facebook Marketplace. I was carrying this actually from across the street. I looked pretty silly probably, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So on this side, I have a couple of plants because this is where the light comes in. I also have this miniature painting from Peyton Cramp, and I actually have a larger one downstairs, but it's kind of nice to just have a little piece of art on the wall behind your shelves to add that height. And on top here, I have a bunch of little pieces of paper that are framed, and it is from an Adele concert, where at the end confetti flew everywhere, and when I picked it up, it actually was phrases and lyrics from her songs. So I love that so much, I put it into a frame. Recently, I really wanted to start playing piano again as my form of meditation. Again, Facebook Marketplace, found this piano, and I love that digital pianos are now so wonderful and they feel so realistic. So I sourced this Yamaha digital piano and currently learning a piece from Amelie, the movie. And as we move up, this is the most prized possession in my apartment. This is the very first piece of art that I've ever commissioned, and it is from Michael Mapes. It's a collection of photographs, and it all compiles to be a picture of Marie Antoinette. So I mentioned that my housewarming party was Marie Antoinette themed, and this is what I wanted to create out of it to continue that theme. And what's really fantastic about commissioning art is that you can ask the artist to put in images of what you want. So in there's a picture of me, my mom, my grandfather, and my grandmother as well. And then all the way at the top here, I sourced this federal mirror that is convex from upstate in Hudson. And I love to go thrifting, and this was something I always wanted to get for my apartment. Found it in a nifty little thrift store and got it for like 35 bucks. So on my coffee table, what I really love about this is that there is a little pocket for my records, because I have a record player and I could put my records in here. Showcasing right now, we have Tupac to represent my West Coast background. But always have a candle lit. And what's really fantastic about these flowers, they're actually from ethereal blooms in the UK. They're preserved. These have been alive or look like this for 6 months. And this is my floral hack, is to get preserved arrangements that look like an arrangement. And people always ask me like, how long have you had this? Or do you keep on refreshing your flowers? They're actually preserved and they'll last for a year. I also am obsessed with rechargeable lights. I hate cords, and so getting rechargeable lights like this that can just sit on top of my coffee table and any place that I want to put it is really fantastic. So on this side, I have this print from Minted that was gifted to me by my friend for my housewarming. It's a photograph of Parisian apartments, and she and I used to live in Paris at the same time as expats for L'Oreal. So this was a great reminder of that time, as well as my dear friend who gifted it to me. And then over here, we have a custom fabricated marble side table. I actually went to a remnant yard and fabricated 2 pieces, my kitchen tabletop as well as this side table, just to have things fit into my space and size it exactly at the height and size that I needed for underneath this area. So this is not a working fireplace. It actually was marketed to be on the listing, but when we found out at the end of the day, it wasn't. My architect, J7 Designs, actually came up with a really great solution. Inside, we actually put a bioethanol fireplace insert instead, and so it's ventless, and you can have that cozy fireplace vibe without the soot and the wood and all of these other things that you would need for a wood burning fireplace. So I get those cozy vibes without all of the dirt, which is actually better for me. So during the spring and summer months, I actually like to style my fireplace with dried flowers and preserved flowers and real flowers as well, because it just helps to liven up this black box in the middle of the room. So right now there's florals in there, but obviously these will get taken out in the fall and winter when I actually get to use the fireplace. And the star of the show on this side is my antique mirror. So I found this mirror on Instagram from an account called Mobilier. and they were fantastic. And I spoke to Olivier in French to get it delivered to my friend in France, in Paris, who then helped me get it delivered to here in New York. So we actually shipped this and a couple of other pieces over together, and I'm so happy that I finally got my antique mirror. I'd always wanted one when I was living in Paris. At that time, I couldn't afford it, so I finally was able to get one now, and I'm so happy that I have it. I buy, I do not DIY, because I am not skilled in that respect in any which way. And I really prefer to pay professionals who know what they're doing and have tons of experience. So for my apartment specifically, for example, the moldings are really on trend right now. I had an architect who knew the proper placement of them in the traditional French style, and they had that done. But in terms of sourcing, I actually source a lot of my things from France. Because I do speak French, I have the privilege of being able to communicate with, vendors out there and Instagram accounts. So my antique mirror actually came from France. So when you enter the apartment, you're directly into the kitchen, and over on this side, I hang my things up on these hooks to get them out of the way. And then right next to the door, there's a prints by Josh Young design house. And I really just love the old school style of them with this modern strikeout of the eyes. And in this corner, when we first looked at the apartment, I had no idea that there was this curve in the corner. We actually opened up the closet and my architect saw that there was a curve and he said, hey, let's expose it. And I love that idea because everything is so square in the apartment. It was really nice to have that softness of the curve. And so I styled it here with a House of Hackney lamp over a vintage base, and have some of my custom matchbooks here. So you can see I customized matchbooks for my apartment that say Chez Vous. That's actually my decor account on Instagram and TikTok, so Chez Vous Decor. And on the other side, it says, from Michelle with love. So whenever my friends come over to visit, they get a little piece of my apartment to take home with them. And I just really love that little personal touch. So this island is the perfect size for a small New York apartment. I actually got it from Pottery Barn, but it did not come with this marble top. I actually went to Brooklyn and fabricated this piece and had it placed on top of the island just to up level and upcycle the entire thing, and I love it. People ask me all the time where I got it from, and I tell them that it actually was a remnant piece that I created. And then again here in this vintage compote bowl, I have more of my matchbooks so that people can grab them when they are leaving my apartment, as well as some customized napkins. And these I got from foryourparty.com, super easy to use. And again, my cordless rechargeable lamps, it's really fantastic to just have a little bit of light on the kitchen island. And then here, these are faux flowers. I'm a big fan of faux flowers because I kill most plants. This is my little coffee nook. I am addicted to coffee, and so I had to have a little space for my Nespresso machine and all of the things that I need for it. This little piece of artwork that I put up with command strips actually comes from a book. So if you know, there's a book called Paris versus New York, and it just compares all of these aspects of the two cities, and it's just perfect for me and my personality and living in both cities. So here it's comparing, coffees in Paris versus coffees in America. This is also a really sentimental piece to me. So this, I actually don't make coffee in, but I put my spoons in. But when I was about to move to France, I broke my wrist snowboarding, and I went to physical therapy, and I met this woman named Nicolette, and she was an older French woman, and I told her about going to France, and we actually started doing lessons together. The sweetest lady, and she bought me this when I finally moved to Paris. I came back to New York. I tried to reach out to her. I have lost contact, but Nicolette, if you're watching this, merci. I love to style my kitchen with things that you would find in your living space because it is an open concept and you see directly into the kitchen. So here I have an original painting of a croissant as well as jam in an antique frame, and then this little tea set that reminds me of the tea set that my grandmother had when I was growing up. And then here I have another little painting that I put up. Again, just like reminded me of the Moulin Rouge in Paris, which is great. And then because I hate the look of a Brita, I actually use this beverage dispenser for my water every single day. And yes, I fill it every single day and I use it every single day. So this fridge is paneled. Everything in my kitchen is paneled just again to have that seamless look. It's perfect size for one. Okay, so all of my condiments and whatnot, and a lot of takeout because the only thing I can make is reservations. And then on the bottom is the freezer. So again, perfect size for one person and everything that I need. And it just looks seamless in my apartment because it's all paneled. Right next to it actually is a paneled dishwasher, which is also fantastic to have in New York City. And then on this side, people love that I have this mini wine fridge. It holds only 7 bottles, one for every single day of the week, and it's all that you need for one person, but it's probably the smallest wine fridge that's out there. And to save space, we actually got a combination microwave and oven, so I don't have 2 different units, they're all combined into one. So I usually lean towards the Maximalist, which helps me to stuff my apartment as much as I can. I have also been told that I am the master of measuring, so you will find things that don't go together but fit perfectly because I'm super meticulous about measuring out my space, making sure that there's room to breathe, but everything fits in right and proportionally so that you'll see throughout my apartment, there's things everywhere in every single corner. I absolutely have to curate my space, and there is not exactly a 1 in, 1 out. I would say 2 in, 1 out, and the other probably goes to storage. So I do have a storage unit as well, which helps me to keep what I need out here and then switch, say, my clothes seasonally. But I really try and be careful to bring things that I love into my apartment because there's just no room. So let's head downstairs, but before we do, I wanted to point out this glass railing. Before, it used to be a wooden banister, but we actually installed the glass so that the light can pass through, as well as it's really modern, again, against all of the traditional molding. So let's head down. Huggy, come on, let's go. Come here. So welcome to the downstairs bedroom area. So my bedroom is on the basement level. So upstairs is the street and then you move one down. It's really cozy down here. There's not a lot of light, which is perfect for me because I sleep like a vampire, and the less light, the better. So behind here are actually windows, and I keep my curtains closed pretty much the entire time because right outside the window is the building trash. And that is not pretty to look at, and I just, keep it closed. I like to have it dark down here, and it's totally fine. There's no issues with smells or rodents or anything like that. Honestly, it's sealed off really, really well. But I love the space down here. It pretty much mirrors the footprint and layout of upstairs, and it's just a great sanctuary for me at the end of the day. So the color schemes down here are a lot more muted and calming and serene because I just wanted a really calm sanctuary to sleep in. Honestly, there's no screens down here either because I do not watch TV in bed. It's really just for sleeping. And so this is a digital-free zone, and I want to keep that serene, calm atmosphere like that all times down here. So this is a piece by Peyton Cramp, a local New York City artist, and it's an abstract of florals. It was actually commissioned for my apartment, and she pulled in the colors of my apartment and integrated them into the painting itself. So you'll see the blue, teal of my cabinets. I love just the texture of the oil painting, and it reminds me a little bit of foundation, and working in the beauty industry, like I thought that was a really wonderful nod. And on this side, we have David. So as I mentioned, I lived in Florence and saw David, and I really wanted a big photo or homage to him. So I got a poster, had it framed, and then I was inspired by the Josh Young prints upstairs and struck out his eyes to just give it a bit more modern effect. So I DIY'd the paint. I can only DIY super simple things. And painting is actually one of the things that also calms me, so I don't mind doing that kind of a DIY. So this is a little vignette, a little corner. Behind this, there's actually storage underneath the stairs. So there's a door and handle here that will open up. And we integrated that, me and my architect with a contractor, built this out because in New York City, you can never have enough storage. There's actually 4 suitcases underneath there, which is really fantastic for additional storage. This charcoal image is from again, local creator, which his name is Rajiv Surendra. And he's like the Renaissance man. He does everything. He does oil painting, he does watercolor, he sketches, he does pottery. So he's really amazing. And I got one of his pieces, which is fantastic. And this is also a very sentimental piece to me. This is a letter from my friend who passed in 2021. And we used to write to each other, and we called each other every single week. So even when I was living in Paris, he would call me every single Friday and we would catch up. But I love this letter that he had sent me. I had found it after his passing because it's very much him and it's his spirit. And he says in there, you know, I kind of want this letter to be kindling for your strength, that you may turn these letters to find warmth and use them to light your way ahead. So these words and his spirit is still with me, and I just love having him nearby. So right next to my bedside is this custom lamp made by Maison by Max, and it's marble, brass, and glass, and it actually is a touch lamp, which is really easy and great when you're bedside. When you are like searching for a switch in the middle of the night, you can just tap it wherever and it will turn on. So in this corner, we built out this niche, and it originally was supposed to be where my bed was, but because I needed additional storage, I moved my bed to this side and added in this buffet. So I'm a proponent of not having furniture where it's supposed to be. So I really love the look of this dining buffet. And so I use it as my dresser and for storage. And I love it down here in my bedroom. In this corner, you see I have more of the green theme. So I pulled everything out of my closet and in my space that kind of marries those things together. And I have, again, more of those books, the antique books from Louise Mulbach down here to just harmonize it together. In this little corner, there is actually a fashion sketch of me. I am dear friends with the former design director of Marchesa, and I wore this dress for a holiday party, and he sketched me in it, which is really, really cool. I am obsessed with lipstick and everything beauty. So this print is actually from Ada, and I got it in London at the Nellie Duff Gallery. What's lovely about it is that on this pedestal, it says on there, weapon of choice. And I find that makeup and beauty is really my weapon of choice. I use it to put on my shield, and I feel like I can conquer the world when I put on the right lipstick. So that is very much me and on brand. And my shoes actually have lipstick on them too. These are from Prada. So, you know, keep in with the theme. This is a little souvenir that I got from the US Open. My cousins actually got this for me for the year that we went together, so it reminds me of them. But I go every single year, and I love watching tennis. I used to play tennis, so this is here to just remind me of that shared pastime. And then this piece of artwork is by Andy Blank. It is a local New York artist that has actually really affordable pieces that are limited edition. So this one is out of 100 and it's a singular piece. And there is a laser cut phrase in there that says, "Who do you think you are?" the story behind this, when I saw it, I knew I had to have it. And the story behind this was when I was younger. This was probably one of my first encounters of prejudice and racism. We were on a family trip, and my uncle was in an altercation with a man, a Caucasian man. And we were a whole family together, and we saw this happening. And I was in the car with my cousins, and I told my uncle, open the door, open the door. And I ran out to the man and I said, who the hell do you think you are? And I just started yelling back at him and defending my uncle and my family. And that's just, for me, like the biggest thing. You do not mess with my family. And so when I saw this, I knew I had to have it. Then moving on, this is a fun little moment. More lipsticks, shocker. This is where I take a lot of selfies. It's a great little Saletti mirror that has a bunch of hands holding lipsticks. So it's a fantastic little shot to have and just a little bit of fun. And on this side, I usually do my hair, so I like to have a mirror here to see as well. And then, of course, we have Marie Antoinette. This actually was a candle that got spray painted white. I didn't do it. I got it from somebody else who had and didn't need it anymore. And I thought that was really cool. And then another fashion sketch on this side. I am also friends with the design director at Pamela Roland. And this is a feather dress that I wore to the VMAs that Taylor Swift said I looked beautiful in, which was really cool. So as I mentioned, I love Halloween and I love a costume. And so this is my Marie Antoinette wig that I wore for my housewarming party, as well as a Bridgerton party, because I am a fan. I got this wig and I made this whole nest situation, and it was a lot of fun. But this is how hard I go when I dress up for a theme. So this hat is actually a hat from Prada. So like I said, I have a Prada obsession, but my friend works at Prada, and so I get access to their sample sales, which I'm very lucky to do. But it is actually really warm and cozy, and it's just huge, and it just makes a statement on the street. So you'll always be able to find me in the winter. So this is my little vanity area. I work in beauty and for 15 years, so you can imagine how much product I've collected. So it is filled with products. All of this is filled with makeup, but I really just needed a space to do my makeup in the morning, test out products as well. And so I added all of these little antique mirrors around it just to add in that Parisian vibe as well. And over here, this is my Carrie Bradshaw moment. I have a shoe closet. So you will see all of my little lovelies in here. Yes, Carrie loves Manolo Blahniks, and I would say that I'm a fan of Prada, and that would be mine. This shoe is actually really cool. When I actually was working at Kiehl's in New York City, I was moving to Paris. And the creative team actually tagged up these Converse shoes for me with the Kiehl's theme and the skyline and the brand and whatnot, and little messages, which I really loved. And yeah, I've never worn them, but I keep them as my collectible to remind me of that time. It's so hard to pick a favorite pair of shoes. I would probably say that some of my most comfortable shoes are actually this super high Louboutin. And it is just like very fierce looking and can really edge up any kind of a simple dress or jean. So this is probably my favorite shoe. Welcome to my dressing area. So this entire space I actually painted in a different color to have more of that rosy glow with the lights on. It is Farrow and Ball setting plaster, and I love it. But the thing that people love in this dressing room are these selfie lights. They are actually integrated into the wall. I had my contractor build these out. There's a service door behind here, but I always knew that I wanted to put a mirror in front of it and then have lights flanking so that I can take pictures with my friends, outfit of the day, and it's just the most beautiful glowing light. So highly recommend if you can install them, I would definitely do it. On this side, I have a commissioned art piece by Camille Hunt that is a body print. So that is actually me. My body got painted, I laid down on the paper, and then she sketched the outline. And so I had a very Samantha moment, when she took pictures of herself. I felt like this is me commemorating where I am right now in my life, feeling very secure about myself. And so that's when I had this made. And of course, I work in beauty, and so my perfume collection is massive, again, collected over 15 years. So when people come over, they can take their pick of what they want to wear. Welcome to my tiny but mighty bathroom. It is covered in this floral wallpaper from Ellie Cashman. I really wanted to treat my bathroom like it's a powder room. New York City bathrooms are super small, and so I might as well go all out. So we actually were able to double the space of the bathroom. There used to be a tub right here and a tiny little sink, but because I'm on the basement floor, I was able to expand the water footprint, which is great. So I added in a standing shower, and because I don't use a tub and I don't need it, and that was wonderful for me. And then over here is the ultimate flex in New York City, a washer dryer. Home means it's where you can be your most authentic self. It's where you ugly cry, it's where you scream, it's where you laugh until you snort. It's just where you can be your most true and authentic self. And when you invite people into your home, you're showing who you are.
Thanks for watching. For more Homeworthy content, be sure to like and subscribe.